Good question. I always wanted to do that. So this is take 2.
Don't say that. You can delete the other one. You don't have to admit it.
This is not take 2. It's all right. We have 0 viewers, so I think everyone gave up after the.
I've only just got a notification.
That's true. So we're going to look at should we celebrate birthdays? See how they've worded that? Not why we shouldn't or that we shouldn't. Just simply should we?
No, it's a choice.
Because it's not a hard and fast rule. But look out if you tried to celebrate it as a witness. Am I right, Tobin?
Yeah, it caused some conflict. It would.
Did you know when your birthday was?
What was that?
Sorry?
Did you know when your birthday was?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we longed to celebrate it, probably just like every other kid.
Yeah, but every other kid longs to celebrate it because you get presents.
Yeah, we wanted presents. We just didn't get them. But this is as all of their cartoons are. This is quite horrific to show your children. So let's just have a look, shall we? And let us know in the chat if you can't hear it.
Good question. How would you answer that at school?
Because Jehovah doesn't like it?
Yes, but why? Do you like presents and treats?
Yes!
But do you want them like this?
So I guess the question is, why are birthday presents dirty? Let's find out, shall we?
Birthday celebrations mix good things with things Jehovah doesn't like.
How?
Long ago, many people believed in good and evil spirits and were afraid of them. They thought presents and treats on their birthday could protect them. And like today, they made wishes that only good things would happen to them.
What does the Bible say about birthdays?
It talks about them, but not good ones.
Did you ever ask that question?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the answer we got. Does the Bible talk about birthdays? You either got, only 1 or 2, and they're not good. That's it. So because there was 2 birthdays in the Bible, and both of them, not that the birthdays themselves were bad, but something bad happened at the birthdays. So
There was Pharaoh in Egypt and Herod in Jesus' day. They were proud rulers and had people put to death at their birthday parties. Can you remember if Jesus celebrated his birthday?
No.
That's right, he didn't. He told us to celebrate the date of his death because it gives us the hope of living forever. And Jesus taught us to give good things to each other anytime we want. Like today.
see, and that's the other thing. That's how they finish. They wrap it up in the nice little bow with but we can give presents anytime we like.
Do you?
They don't.
Yeah, birthday presents every day.
No. You never get presents unless, like, we had a present day, which is our parents' guilt for us missing out on everything else.
But I don't understand how that's a valid day either then.
It's not. That's why they do it.
Yeah, but my point
we're
is
not
how
celebrating anything.
because you're not celebrating anything.
just present day, just getting presents, getting some gifts for no reason.
I do remember that sentiment. You know, it's been so long since I've actually thought about this particular topic. And this is kind of like flashing me back to some
Sorry,
memories that I
Tobin.
haven't thought about for a while.
Well, when was your first birthday then?
You know, I'm not even entirely sure, but I think it wasn't until
From what I've seen, people say when you actually play the game rather than the demos, like it dumps.
I think whenever I like hit my teens and stuff like that, my friends would gift me stuff. I definitely remember on my 21st birthday, everybody in the neighborhood pulled together and got this huge box of alcohol and got me totally fucked up. But yeah, as a
That's really
young kid,
sweet.
I don't remember having my first birthday. I remember going to people's birthday parties that were like a part of my family,
Were
but
your
didn't
family
never
not
actually-
JWs?
just my mom and my siblings.
Hmm.
And the rest of the family was different denominations of Christian.
But how did your mum then justify you going to these other birthday parties?
You know, I'm not entirely sure. I guess she was just like, well, you know, these are his cousins. This is, you know, everyone's getting together over at so and so's house, and I was allowed to go and play and stuff like that, which was cool. I mean,
Were you allowed cake?
I don't want to play mine.
yeah, I did eat cake. I did.
You look shit.
I didn't think
Yeah.
twice about it.
I know.
You didn't enjoy it.
Cake itself was fine,
Creative.
but if it was a birthday cake, see, I don't know how if you remember this, Tobin, or if it was even like this for you, but when you're born in, you hear phrases like "you live in a bubble," and I know that other faiths are similar, but I don't know how many are so culty that they're quite like it is with JWs, where I literally believed, right, that our house had a bubble around it that Satan and demons couldn't penetrate. But if I brought, you know, a book that was questionable, or music, or watched something dodgy, or even had the wrong thoughts, that I would break that bubble and demons could get in. And we're told that if we let them have access to us, they can do anything they want, including kill us. So as a child, I was terrified that I would be killed by demons if I did
Yeah,
anything wrong.
it's a mind trip. It really is. Like getting over a lot of that stuff is it's a feat in itself.
But so it creates, living in that bubble, it creates bizarre little beliefs, like, you know, that the cake, a cake is nothing, but as soon as it becomes a birthday cake, it sort of takes on a demonic power. So if I then took that cake home, you know, I'm inviting Satan in just by bringing that cake, because it's now a birthday cake, which is why in that last episode, Caleb's so broken up about having licked some. So fucked
He's
up.
going to get into so much more trouble when he's older.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Good timing.
Hi. Yes.
And Mum brings some pie to save the day.
Yeah, because there's a lot more things that you think about a lot harder than licking a little bit of icing off the tip of your nose. There's other things that you should concern yourself about licking.
Speaking of better uses of your time, let's see what the best use of our time is.
It's wanking, isn't it?
Well,
Whoa, awesome!
That's what I
It's so
think.
shiny.
You two are really excited about it.
A
There are a
TV.
lot of fun things you can do.
oh,
And important things too.
you're showing your age, Dave, when you said
Tablet.
TV.
Well, I thought it's too thick for it to be a tablet.
No, but well, see, it would be a generic tablet. It wouldn't be like an iPad or a Samsung. It would be a Lenovo or something.
However, before we let you use it, we need to establish a few rules.
Here we go.
Rules.
Yes, kids, because too much of a good thing can become a bad thing.
What do you mean?
A wise man once said, "There is an appointed time for everything." But if you are always looking down at your device, you can lose track of time. Or miss beautiful things happening around you. Your mother and I are going to set time limits for you, and you'll always be under our supervision.
5 more minutes, Caleb.
Okay, Mom.
Remember, time is a gift from Jehovah. We should use it wisely. Isn't that right, honey?
That's right. Now smile.
I got nothing.
It's just
That's messed up. Were they worried about books being that way? Like, oh, don't spend too much time in front of a book, you know? I mean, back when we didn't have the iPads and stuff like that.
Did you have many books? Do you remember? Like
Oh yeah,
worldly
we had
books?
that Revelations book. We had the that yellow book.
We
with
had the red book, the yellow book. There was a blue one. Oh no, we had there was so many parts of my childhood that I just remember thinking, this isn't allowed. Like, you know, we'd have books that would be about wizards or fairy tales or dragons and things like that. And you see on these cartoons now, the kids are told how wrong that is. And I used to think that when I was a kid, and I was like, well, how come we can do these things but not these things? And like we were saying earlier today, Tobin, or last night for you, I'm not sure, why a lot of us wake up at around 12 or 13 when we reach that critical thinking stage, because all of a sudden all the contradictions and you know,
Yeah, there's so
just-
many things that you're like, wait a minute, I can't do this, but I can do this. This is all right. Well, like the cake example is one of the best examples because it's just a cake, and then as soon as you attach it's a birthday thing. Now there's some kind of magical incantation that can allow, demonic forces against you. What the heck? It's silly. It really is. I
How much time did you spend trying to get around the rules?
all of it.
All of it.
Personally, yeah. But and see, there was a spectrum, like, of the people around my age. You've got the ones who, like me, just I was indoctrinated, so I thought it was the truth, but I didn't want a bar of it. Like, I thought, if this is the truth, then be done with me now. I'm not going to paradise. Like,
So I may as well have fun.
Exactly. And then a full spectrum through to the really devout ones who would dob on you for everything, and their conscience would eat them alive, at the drop of a hat. So yeah, it was there was a variety of us. Poor us.
Nice comments today, both of you.
So, Mom, will we?
Go to the park? I think so.
Yes!
Oh, okay. We just have to wait a bit for Dad, then see what he says. Here comes Dad. Oh, it looks like somebody needs a ride.
Thank you so much. I hope this doesn't spoil your plans. What a beautiful afternoon.
All right. We're going to take Wilfredo home and help him with a few things, okay? I'll get the tools.
Caleb, today you can make something Jesus made all the time.
Make something? What?
A sacrifice.
Duty.
How?
Well, Jesus worked hard, and sometimes he had plans to rest.
So I don't know if you could tell, Tobin, but they'd obviously just left the meeting.
Okay.
And now they got to go and do some stuff for some old brother. And then they'll probably go witnessing. And the kid's going to get a lecture about why he should shut up and like it. Because he should be like Jesus at 5.
When did Jesus work hard?
Man, the dude didn't even wear shoes. He's a hobo.
But when people needed his help, he made a sacrifice,
Help us.
giving up what he wanted to do.
To help someone else.
Right. And how did that make him feel?
Happy. Even if he didn't get to go to the park.
So it seems innocent enough, but when you know, like, how little these kids already get and how much they already miss out on, to then be guilt-tripped about it.
When did you first think you were missing out?
As soon, like, kindergarten. as soon as I saw other kids. Do you know in kindergarten, right? So early that my memories are like barely even there anymore. I would have to sit at the desks by myself and coloring pictures while they sung Christmas carols.
Yeah, I went out in the hallway.
And all looked over at me like, why does he have to sit over there? And then stand me out the front of everyone and explain that I'm a freak from a cult.
You were special.
Yeah, like saying the Pledge of Allegiance, or a lot of the school activities that you do with everybody that had to deal with any type of holiday or whatever. A lot of it, I was given different assignments and sent off to go sit by myself.
See, I eventually by sort of primary school, so year 3 and 4, I just started singing the anthem and doing all that stuff. Even though I thought it was wrong and I felt guilty, my need to fit in was stronger. So,
you know, it kind of went into like I got to a point to where I was very anti-authority and very against. I mean, now I understand government. I have a better understanding of government. I'm not against a government. I'm actually for it. But with those things like don't say the Pledge of Allegiance and things like that, it kind of led a pathway for me to be like, there's something wrong with our government, and fuck the government, fuck all that shit. There's a lot of knowledge that I did not learn because I didn't care to, because I thought they were evil people. I thought the whole system was messed up. So now I'm having to relearn a lot of like how our government actually works.
There's a lot of people questioning at the moment. It's come up. We talked to Jade about it the other night, about the fact that the number of people that leave religion of any sort and end up completely changing their politics. And why it is that you, and I think it's, and I said, my input was, you all of a sudden you realize that people get to make their own decisions. There isn't a book with all the answers in that says that this is right and you should be enforcing this. All of a sudden it's people get to make their own decisions, live and let live as the basis for most politics in my head anyway.
See, and like it can't even be that cut and dry for ex-witnesses because we didn't have a political leaning. I guess you could almost say conservative or right, but as far as following a party or politicians, we're at square one, with that when we come out. It's not that we change where we were standing because we were anti-politics, we were anti-government, we were anti the world.
But you're not, though. This is the problem. This is where they changed the language. You're not anti-government. You're anti that government. You have your church's government that tries to usurp it. You still want the politics and the structure. You've just got your own and you call it something different.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. This is a pretty disturbing one. This is what Lloyd Evans, or formerly known as John Cedars, likes to call persecution porn. It looks like they're depicting Joseph in Egypt, forgiving his brothers.
There was something that happened to me like a year ago. It was somewhat recent. I was working with some people, and I went to go pick up a toolbox, and the lid was not clasped. So whenever I picked up the handle, I dumped everything out. And one of my coworkers said something to the effect of, God's getting you back, or God's, punishing me in some kind of way. And I was like, well, I guess I haven't been doing anything that bad, because I just dumped out some tools that I can pick up pretty quickly. I guess I haven't been that horrible then, huh?
Which you bring up an excellent point, actually, because what I've sort of realized watching all these new JW videos that we didn't have when we were JWs is that they use this phrase Jehovah's hand. I can see Jehovah's hand in that. I can see Jehovah's hand in that. But when I was growing up, I was taught Jehovah didn't do anything. He was out of the picture. This was Satan's world. Satan basically challenged God to say they only worship you because they know you exist. Hey?
And one, apparently.
Yeah.
We get based on the number of JWs versus everyone else.
Yeah.
Satan is very much winning.
Absolutely. So it's like, well, is he doing tricks and miracles, or is he not doing tricks and miracles? And then you'll get those that say, oh, he doesn't, but if you ask, he will. Because the challenge that Satan put forth, which I'd like to see in the Bible, mind you, is that that people only worship God because they know he exists. He shows himself to them. So he essentially had to take himself out of the picture to prove that people would still turn to him, which is their explanation for why there was no Jehovah's Witnesses for about 2,000 years. That he's left it long enough that eventually people figured out the actual truth. And speaking of truth, I find it fascinating that they actually, we on the outside will call them Jehovah's Witnesses. They refer to themselves as Christians when they in their videos and things, or they're describing them their faith, but amongst themselves, they literally, and they use it like a title, not in the sense of the actual word, but they call it the truth. So they'll say, oh, did you hear such and such left the truth? Which means left the organization, but it's called the truth.
Yes.
So even the everyday language is programming you as
But
you
it's-
speak.
But that is a Christian thing rather than a JW thing.
Is it? Do other Christians say?
Oh, yeah. Oh, over and over. Not necessarily the. No, they do. No, they talk about the truth, as in, because they define it as they want it. I mean, it's one of these things at the moment where I am railing against, because it is the theft of the language that allows them to keep power. It's like a lot of people argue about the faith, because they flip and change the meaning of what they mean by the word faith, depending on its convenience. Faith and trust.
Well,
God, that's the one at the moment. That is massive at the moment. That God is not a god. That's a category error, apparently. Their God, Yahweh, Jehovah, is not a god, because their God's real and creator of the universe. That's not a god, it's God.
Yeah.
Well, then what the fuck is the meaning of the word God?
G,
then?
little g.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's word salad, word gymnastics. Like,
and
it gets them nowhere, but it does internally.
Well,
it stops them thinking.
See, the governing body, they're clever. They have slowly, and I when I think back, I saw it happening over my lifetime. It probably started long before that, but it sort of ramped up. The interchangeability of the phrases Jehovah and Jehovah's organization. And literally any phrase you take that says Jehovah, swap it with Jehovah's organization and it works. And when you do that, all of a sudden they become the same thing. What's the difference? Because you disobey Jehovah's organization, you're disobeying Jehovah.
Yeah. So you can't question it for that reason. Because you're not questioning, and it's so bad to watch the bits from the guy that did the recordings of the meetings of the letter that I forget all the words and names of, and to question a brother, an elder, to question someone at that meeting outside individually was considered to question the church, which is questioning God.
Yep.
Which is insane. You're giving the authority of any person, and they don't seem to care that a person could be corrupt within it.
And what a very good point that Lloyd Evans showed. Actually, they sort of exposed themselves without realizing. One of their videos is about how this elder in a congregation, his day job is a janitor, and the way he gets treated by the world. But what it's showing is this little old man who's nothing in this world and has no power and no authority goes into his church and he's like God. So you end up with unreported abuse, and if he's a misogynist, then that congregation's going to have misogynistic things happening and get people getting away with it, because little janitor who gets pushed around all day long goes and takes it out on his congregation, gets his power fix, and they're all window cleaners or bank cleaners, janitors, and things like that.
You said your dad wasn't a JW.
Me?
No, Tobin.
Right, that's right.
Was he ever a JW?
No. Nope.
Who did your mother submit to?
There was a couple that came to our door, and they start. It was an actual man and wife. I actually remember their names. I could look them up, but yeah, they started with just little Bible studies. They would
I'll
come
be
over
right
to
back.
our house and talk to us, and then eventually we started going to church with them.
But I thought that the man being the head of the household was relatively strict in JWs.
Right.
That had to have led them into conflict between her position in the church and him thinking it might be a load of crock.
Yeah, because they did try to talk him into it. I've had talks with my dad as an adult. Even here recently, we're talking about them, and he talked with the elder of the church, and it was just it got to where, okay, there's a middle ground here. I'm not going to persuade you to become one of us, but you're all right with, your wife
Was your dad a
coming to
Christian?
church. No, no, I don't even think he would consider himself a Christian. I don't think he puts that label on himself. Yeah, if one of the arguments I was recently having with them was how the United States of America's Constitution has nothing to do with God. And he was like, "Oh," he brought up the 10 Commandments. And I was like, "What 10 Commandments?" And he couldn't even name me any. And he started like trying to like say it off. It was actually really, really hilarious because he tried, but he was nowhere close. But yeah.
Doctor says he's tricky. You know what confuses me the most? That in this day and age, how is it that someone like myself, who is diagnosed as insane, can look at those people and say, who's the crazy one now? That's what it boils down to. The vast majority of the time redefining words to suit. Oh, there was when we were talking about words. I think that we will look back on religion as a mental illness. I don't think there is any way we can class it as one now because we indoctrinate.
And there's so many little pockets all over the place, and it's very insular. So it's like there's always going to be this flow of people who are.
The problem is, I keep coming back to this. They are going right now. They're winning. They are, as much as we have got people leaving religion left, right, and centre. They are organised and they are fighting back, and you can see it. Schools are where it's going to come from. It's public education that has damaged them over the last 30 years, and they are hammering all over the world that backwards. We've got it in the UK now. They're opening new religious schools that are state funded. I mean, that's insane. And we've still got it on the books that we're meant to have an hour of prayer in a public school every day. No, not an hour of prayer. Shared worship every morning. That's what it says. In every school.
Yeah. I'm actually, I started making donations to some organizations. I would really like to help build our community. I would like to be in opposition. I am definitely on y'all's team. And if I can help, I'm definitely willing.
I think you have to exist. You have to show you exist. I don't know. There are things I'd say off stream that I won't say now.
Okay. All right.
It's not that I try and hide them. It's just that some people take them the wrong way. But it's an odd fight because I do believe in a freedom of choice. I do believe that you have the right to choose your own beliefs. But I don't. How can it be a free choice when they don't know anything else? It's the reason they are terrified of telling kids about the fact that our genders are not fixed, that gay people exist. The reason they are terrified is that just knowing at a young age that something else is possible expands a child's mind. And they want them to not know. You get to adulthood not knowing that it's possible to be gay, not knowing that it's possible to not believe in God. I mean, the number of people I've spoken to that have come out of religion that spent their entire life not knowing that there were actually people that didn't believe in God. And they couldn't comprehend it because they weren't told that it was possible.
Right. There's a lot of things that just didn't cross my mind, you know, until it was brought up, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. There's people that think like this. Wait a minute, I can do that. Hang on.
Dr. Osiris says, I went to a Catholic school in Stoke-on-Trent when I was a kid, and it messed me up. I was fine until I went to that school. That's when I started getting my paranoid symptoms and occasional hearing voices. By the time I was 15, I was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia 3 years before the average. I'm intrigued. I would love to talk to you about it sometime because I've seen studies on timing in the brain that might be the cause of voices. And does that mean that you sound like Spooky? Did you grow up completely in Stoke-on-Trent? Manda says, I met a 22-year-old woman a couple of years ago that had no idea that atheists exist. She did not know that some people do not believe in God. Yeah, and at the moment in America, that's what they are. They are literally trying to make it more and more by taking people out of schools, homeschooling. They are trying to make that the prevalent opinion in their communities. That it doesn't exist. I mean, I think the internet has thrown a spanner in the works, but again, they are organizing there too.
Yep, they sure are. And yeah, there's a lot of people who are just making it up as they go. That's what I've found whenever I've been talking to people who are religious.
Have you listened to much that Esther's done?
The Esther, no,
the African humanist.
Oh yes, yeah.
It's fascinating because they've split off from Christianity. It's still Christianity, but they've gone in their own direction and made up whole other shit.
Yeah, it's just like whatever you can imagine. That's what's true.
Yeah.
But
jump in, people.
What?
If you like. If anyone wants to jump in, I've just posted the link in the chat. Sorry, I had a child emergency.
What time is it?
It is 2:30 a.m.
wow.
You shouldn't be having child emergencies at 2:30 a.m. They're meant to be asleep.
Meant to be.
Oh, wait a minute. 2:30 a.m. for you?
Wow.
Like it's 11:30. It's in the middle of the afternoon for me right now. That's wild.
Manda says, look at what they just did in Arkansas, allowing for creationism to be taught as science in public schools. See, this is what pisses me off. Again, it's the theft of the language. They don't want creationism to be taught. They want it to be taught as science.
You're like a worm.
Hello.
Nice and warm.
What do you think of Jehovah?
Do you know who Jehovah is?
No.
No? Nah.
No.
He steals. He steals birthdays.
He's a bad man that steals birthdays.
I know I like him.
You don't like him? No.
And then they
No.
had.
He's pretend like ghosts
He is.
Right.
and monsters.
What is?
You want to watch that? Look, see? I bet all the little kids want to watch it. So that was pretty pointless.
It's just
Basically, if people pick on you,
carry on.
be nice to them. But more than that, it says be prepared for people to pick on you.
Okay. Oh,
What do they do?
Okay.
What do they do in JW communities when there aren't other people? How are you going to get persecuted if you're not around people that think you're nuts?
Right? They're so insular. There's not a whole lot of room for outsiders to actually do anything to you.
Except the poor kids that are at school.
Yeah.
Well, do JWs not run their own schools as well?
Well, a lot of them homeschool, but I've never heard of a JW school, no. Because they want them to go to school and witness to their friends.
That was a little bit. How old's the thing?
This thing.
Yeah, that one.
He's just turned 5. Didn't you? Mm-hmm. You cold?
No, a little bit cold.
No, a little bit cold.
Say, give me the Metallica sweater.
You want to steal Dad's sweater? You can, even better than that, you can have Dad's dressing gown.
More hot.
There you go.
More hot.
More hot, is it?
More.
Yeah.
No.
Harrison's speech is a little delayed, as you can probably tell.
But he seems to be able to express himself fine.
Oh yeah, I always know what he's saying. Don't I? Poor little bugger. Yes, so that was fun. They're not as a lot of them aren't as bad as.
I would admit, some of them have got. It's not like everything about every religion is bad, and it's not like teaching people to be nice when people try and bully you is a terrible message.
Yeah,
but it's this whole wrapping it up is. Yeah.
Yeah, because you can take any book. I could take Grimm's fairy tales right here and look at it and go, hey, you know, what kind of truth can I get out of this book? What kind of morals?
Yes.
It can come from anywhere.
It doesn't seem. The worst thing is I've watched people that have done that, and it doesn't seem to matter. It makes no odds whatsoever. You're picking the morals you want out of it. I got into an argument about slavery, which is a big one biblically, and they're trying to say how I am cherry picking just by pointing out the verses that support slavery. I said I don't, and they said you look at the ones that say it doesn't support slavery. I said I don't need to look at the ones that say it doesn't. You have to justify the ones that say it does. Otherwise, you can't claim it doesn't. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
The cherry picking, I don't know how. Just out of interest, did you read the Bible?
Yes, I actually still have one.
And before or after you left?
Both.
Yes, both.
And did you read it from beginning to end?
No, I have not done that.
Only as a witness.
And what's different in it?
Is
there much? I don't know. I don't know how much different in your.
On which one? Because they have their own, which they've every instance of the Lord or God they've replaced with Jehovah.
Yeah. What about when
well as
what about when it says Yahweh?
it probably says Yahweh.
Okay.
They're okay with Yahweh. In fact, they accept that his name is more closer to Yahweh than it is Jehovah. Yeah, like they believe in the Tetragrammaton and all that. See,
I'm curious now the differences between their Bibles and everybody else's. But I burnt mine. I was kind of pissed off, and I burnt all those Jehovah's Witnesses books. I ripped them up and put them in a pile and just burnt it. But that was an angry point many, many years ago.
Ooh, look at that. Oh.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Teenagers, I can only imagine what horrid advice.
Dr. Osiris says, it seriously winds me up every time I talk to a theist. You can guarantee they'll tell me to read the Bible or at least claim that I have never read it.
I love you.
Yes.
I love you too, baby.
And it's like, wow, that book is everywhere. You go into crappy motel rooms and stuff, and there's a Bible shoved in the corner somewhere. I mean, it's not like it's not accessible. It's freaking everywhere. I didn't go out and get this one. This one was given to me. Like, it's...
I started using Doodly.
Doodly. I was depressed because my fucking aunt and uncle bought me a Bible, and I got a speech with it.
Oh, well, like a lecture.
It would be the most important thing I would ever own.
Oh. If only they could see you now.
Oh my God! I had to go and live with them for a few months when I was go on, let's have a guess, 20-ish, because I was working. I didn't have to go and live with them, but it was convenient. It's like being in the house of Children of the Corn. They are very what you would call happy clapper, full on evangelical Christians. It's one of those things. I wonder, having encountered them in my childhood, how much influence they had on me in the negative. You know.
Oh, mama.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Hey, mama.
I don't know. Who are you?
No, how are you?
I said, who are you? Like, fuck you, dude. I just woke up not that long ago. So.
Did you?
Yeah. I had a rough night. Sorry. How are you?
See how evil sports is showing.
Are you not allowed to play sports?
Sports.
No, greatly.
They can be good for you. In fact, at 1 Timothy 4:8, the Bible says that physical exercise is beneficial. Sports can teach you vital skills, including how to cooperate and communicate with others. But sports can also be bad for you. It all depends on what you play, how you play, and how much you play. Consider...
I can't do it.
So, first of all, what you play. So, they're saying there are sports that are bad. Full stop.
What?
No
2
other
seconds there.
reason.
Dr. Osiris has an off-topic question. Sure. What sports aren't you allowed to play?
Daddy?
I don't know. I'm guessing they're gonna say wrestling because it's violent. So
more violent than Aussie rules.
Maybe fencing.
Again, more violent than Aussie rules.
Well, no. But see, they're probably going to say that something like Aussie rules would be bad. So let's see.
What you play. At Psalm 11:5, the Bible reminds us that God hates anyone who loves violence.
See?
And some sports are clearly violent. So ask yourself, does it make sense to be entertained by watching others get knocked around?
Because
Next,
you can't play indoor
consider
soccer.
how you play. At Philippians 2:3, the Bible says, do nothing out of...
Well, he specifically said watching, though. So is it okay to do the boxing? Just not to watch it?
contentiousness or out of egotism, but with humility, consider others superior to you. Of course, nearly every sport involves a degree of competition, but a win-at-all-costs attitude will just take the fun out of the game. And besides, at Proverbs 16:18, the Bible says that pride is before a crash. So ask yourself, do I enjoy playing with overly competitive and prideful people? Then why would I want to be like that? Finally, consider how much you play sports, or even watch. At Philippians 1:10, the Bible says, make sure of the more important things. That's good advice, because let's face it, putting too much emphasis on sports is like putting too much salt on your food. If you spend too much time watching or playing sports, other things in your life will suffer. That includes your family life, school grades, and the time you need to devote to worship. In the end, sports shouldn't be the most important thing in your life.
Worship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
time for worship.
No, over here.
Dad, think of it
imagine, like, hi, Kaz, if, like, okay, so say that, like, you know, people die and they have the ability to have some consciousness afterwards and just know that they died and there's nothing else out there. And for them to go back and look and say, oh my God, I wasted my whole fucking life with all this worship, you know, that didn't amount to anything because there's nothing to worship. That would be nice. Just saying.
It would. But see, they have that, well, I imagine that a lot of them would have that Kent Hovind attitude of, well, if I'm right and you're wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got nothing to lose. Yeah, because you already lost it.
Yeah, exactly. You did.
Like,
you spent you wasted all that time in your life chasing after non-facts and spreading non-facts and worshiping or whatever. It's instead of actually contributing to society or having any sort of real life whatsoever. It's sad.
The problem is you've got the sunk cost fallacy there. It won't allow them to think that they have lost that because they have wasted so much time.
I did that with The Walking Dead for a while. Like, we've been watching it for so many years and it got bad, but we still continued to watch it for a while. Yeah. Same idea.
Yeah, very much so.
For taking care of your responsibilities first. That way, you really get the benefits of sports and avoid the pitfalls.
So yeah, see, they don't say no sports, but I mean, I don't really know any witnesses that are in, say, even just a local level sports club, because that would be putting too much time to something that's not trying to convince people.
Yeah, that's an area where my mom or my church failed, because I played baseball quite a bit. I had baseball fields right behind my house, and we would play all the damn time. But
yeah, and that's the thing, like it differs not only from country to country, but congregation to congregation.
Yeah,
will have slightly different rules that they enforce. A surgeon explains his fee.
Yeah, that's a scary thing to think about. Like, there's like doctors and stuff who want to like work on you and stuff, and they hold to some of these beliefs.
Well,
one of my doctors wears a big cross on his neck, and that bothers me. Like, I'm sorry, I don't want my doctors are scientists. I don't want my scientists believing in that shit, especially if they're, taking care of my health. That's really, I don't like that at all. Makes me very uncomfortable. I live in the South, so it's kind of hard to find people that aren't going to church and stuff like that. So.
And I have to wonder how a witness becomes a surgeon. I would have to say the surgeon got convinced rather than a witness went and became a surgeon, because education is frowned upon. The amount of time you would have to put to your education, there's no way that a witness would ever be allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Which is one of the facts about them that frustrate me so much, because they will happily use a surgeon when they need, but denounce the universities and the education that made that surgeon. So, that's not what we wanted. Oh, it's not a video.
It does, Dad.
I actually had an issue. I was trying to go to college, and I needed my mom's help. And if she would have helped me, I could have, just with some paperwork, I could have been able to do financial aid. It wouldn't have been anything that she would have had to pay. I was trying to get financial aid, but because she did not want to cooperate, it made it to where I could not get financial aid, and I had to figure out other plans, which I didn't even really get to finish my schooling, which is one of my the things that I'm kind of regretful for.
It seems like a real dick move to stop you. Say again?
Yeah. That is one of those wedges that she drove in between our relationship. That's one of the things that makes it really hard for me to really want to reach out to her and actually try to continue a relationship, really. Like, if you're, I don't know. I don't know.
There you go. For anyone who's wondering about whether they're young Earth creationists, so they're not, which surprises a lot of people. They'll happily accept the age of the Earth. They believe humans have only existed for 6,000 years, because they don't hold to the literal day. They call them epochs, which could be any length of time. So, which also sort of sneaks them out of having to explain the dinosaurs living alongside. Oh, how is everyone muted? Oh, you chose to mute yourself.
They muted themselves.
Okay,
sorry, I'm eating dinner.
That's right. I just looked up and everyone was muted, so I thought, oh shit, what have I done?
I wasn't.
You're saying Jehovah's Witnesses are creationist or not creationist? How? That's blasphemy.
So yeah, not young Earth, but it's all very convenient.
Yeah, that was another thing that messed with me, was the whole dinosaurs thing and the time lapse of that.
I don't know what you got told. My parents sort of the answer I got was there's a verse that says about, and when the earth was ready, he made man. So it's like there was too much vegetation, so he had to make the dinosaurs to eat the vegetation back a bit.
What?
And then the meat eaters to eat the the herbivores, and then the earth was ready, because everything, like the trees were really big, and there's no way we could have lived. And I actually swallowed that. But what's scarier is that an adult would have told me that.
Yeah. The idea that adults believe this stuff is a little disconcerting. I can say that.
I have to say I'm glad that they choose to segregate themselves from the world and they don't get into politics and things, because could you imagine people like this? I mean, I know
Trump
you
would have won the last
basically
election.
yeah, you basically have that already in America, but look at their abysmal attempts at does science agree with the Bible? Straight up, yes. Although it's not a textbook, it is accurate. So let's see. The universe had a beginning.
That's an assumption.
Are they serious? Okay. The universe is governed day to day by rational natural laws, not by the whims of deities.
No, they're not rational. Ooh. I don't like they call it rational natural laws. That implies that someone's thinking. It's
Right.
That's
But deities plural maybe. But what's Jehovah? They try and use the suspended in empty space thing, which it doesn't say. It does not say suspended in empty space. It says hangs, which it doesn't hang at all. What else we got? Rivers and springs are fed by water that has evaporated from the oceans and other sources and then fallen back to earth as rain, snow, or hail. And then they try and
Rivers and streams feed the ocean, not the other way around. They flow into the ocean.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Stupid.
Oh, no, but they're saying if fed by water that's evaporated from the ocean.
Well, okay, I guess that's kind of true. I mean, but it's not just the oceans. It's whatever rainfall is evaporation.
Because the ancient Greeks thought that rivers were fed by underground ocean water, then Jehovah.
They did. I didn't know that.
The mountains rise and fall. Are you serious? What is the verse? You covered it with deep waters as with a garment. The waters stood above the mountains.
Okay, also a little bit true. I mean, as plate tectonics continue to move around, mountains can get bigger, but that's not how they're describing it. So,
but how is that verse saying that?
Taking like real science and kind of fucking with it.
I'll say, let's see what the water cycle verse is. He draws up the drops of water, they condense into rain from his mist. Then the clouds pour it down. They shower down upon mankind. So because they could see what was happening right before their very eyes, Jehovah. Oh, here we go. Sanitary practices protect health. So
Washing after touching a dead body. That's all they're talking about.
yeah, about the dead bodies. So don't
You know,
touch a dead body.
I would be much more convinced if the Bible was like an actual like book that had information about germ theory, you know, how to properly wash your hands, how to make soap, you know, like how to be able
Well,
to survive in this environment. That would make much
germ
more,
theory wasn't introduced till like the 1860s. It
right?
wasn't believed all around until the 1890s. So,
But they
but
knew
yeah,
science because, look, a peg should be part of your equipment. When you squat outside, you should dig a hole with it and then cover your excrement. So, science.
so science.
That's it. That's literally the two. Oh, hang on, there's a third one here. So, if a man develops on his skin a swelling, a scab, or a blotch, it could become the disease of leprosy on his skin. He must then be brought to Aaron the priest, or to one of his sons the priest. The priest will examine the infection on his skin. When the hair on the infection has turned white and the appearance of the infection is deeper than the skin, it is the disease of leprosy. The priest will examine it and will declare him unclean. But if the blotch on his skin is white and its appearance is not deeper than the skin and the hair has not turned white, the priest will then quarantine the infected person for 7 days. The priest will then examine him on the 7th day, and if it appears that the infection has stopped and has not spread on the skin, the priest will quarantine him for another 7 days. Science.
They're missing a lot of stuff. If they want to like clean an infectious wound, oh my goodness, that is not adequate enough. Leviticus has failed.
Well, this is the problem, though, because this book is so old, and we've progressed scientifically as a society, all of it. Unlike science, where when we figure out, oh, this idea that we had was wrong, we have proof that something is better, and so we change it. They don't do that. Every time that they come to a point in history where they've realized something that is written in the Bible is incorrect because science has told us so, they haven't said, oh, okay, let's change this. No, we believe in the word of the Bible, and that is it. So,
yeah, it's.
What about the breeding for sheep, for striped animals? And which one's going to be male and female?
Well,
their understanding of science.
They see that's not declaring science. That would be something that Jehovah caused to happen.
Got you. So if it doesn't agree with science, it's magic.
No, it's Jehovah.
Yeah, I was going to say it's God. Everything is because God.
And God doesn't use magic?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
No, he uses his Holy Spirit.
And what does his Holy Spirit use?
Well,
it doesn't. It's not a person. They don't believe in the Trinity. It is the thing that God's using. It's the mojo. It's his juju.
So does it not have to behave in accordance with the physical laws?
No. Just does whatever God tells it to.
So magic.
Yes. it's the force. It's God's force. So
Force it.
actually,
Force it.
you bring up a good point. So they use the language active force. They've took the words Holy Spirit out of their Bible and put the phrase active force. So God's active force moved upon the waters.
I love
So
how you
see
hold
how-
Daisy like she's a baby.
She's got sore legs.
Sorry.
What are you looking
Why are her
for?
legs sore?
Well, this one's broken. Nope. That one is just one of them's fucked. That one. Right.
Her,
And
her
this,
leg is broken?
yeah, it's been broken forever. It's been wired back together internally, but it's riddled with arthritis, and so she never walks on it right. But that's just normal. Right? But this one, she hurt a couple of days ago, and we walked her yesterday, and she now can't walk on it.
Aww. Poor baby.
Can't see your legs. There you go. Yeah, the leg there. You're slightly more upright. What are you looking at? You're looking for more food, aren't you?
Leia had a seizure the other day when I was out. It was the first time she's had one without me being around. Luckily, Angel was here, but he didn't know what to do. That made me sad. So, sorry, Sammy. Love our dogs. Can't help it.
No, that's all right. Keep talking amongst yourself. I'm finding something I want to show you.
Oh.
What's that? Look up there.
I always try to get Leia to look at the camera, and it makes her look away. Nope, I don't want to do it.
What's this? What's this?
Oh,
That's a good picture right there.
You get it?
I know.
Gonna get it? You gonna get it? I'm gonna find a biscuit.
Do you have a floofer, Tobin?
I do. I have a runt. I have the blue nose pit bull.
Oh, my dog is a German Shepherd Chow mix.
Do not catch this.
This is very
German
floofy.
Shepherd Chow mix.
Yeah, she looks mostly like a black German Shepherd with long hair, but she's got that tail that the tail that looks like a C that kind of goes up around. Yeah, and the purple tongue, like a Chow. So she's only got a couple of Chow traits.
It's there.
Yeah, those are like miniature bears almost.
Yes, she's so floofy. Like there's just black dog hair. Like I have to clean my my fan every week because the ceiling fan has it's just completely black on the blades because of all her fur. Like every week it gets like that. It's so bad. Ah.
Yep, the dog hair. That is constant with them.
Mm-hmm. I should have thought to. We got ours from the pound. We rescue ours. I don't like getting pure breeds from breeders and stuff like that. But
I was actually gifted mine. I was gifted mine as well. I wouldn't go and buy. I'm not financially secure enough to actually go purchase a dog like the pure breeds and stuff like that are crazy expensive. Like actually buying one it's ridiculous, especially when there's all these strays running around. I mean, in my neighborhood alone, I mean, that's one of the things I actually have to be concerned about around here is there are some dogs that roam around here that are not exactly friendly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My parents bought a purebred. Well, it's a cockapoo, one of those cocker spaniel poodle mixes. They drove all the way out to Ohio to buy her, and she was $4,000 fucking. She is the most annoying little bitch dog you would ever met. All she does is bark all the time. She's got lots of health issues because she's, was bred. It's fucking, it's terrible. It's terrible. Sorry.
Yeah, the puppy farms disgust me. Like that
Mhm.
yeah.
It's terrible. Like, just, the way they treat them and stuff too.
We've never had a non-rescue dog.
Yeah. Do they have? Is it the same in the UK? Do you guys have puppy mills and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, my mum's last dog was a breeding bitch that basically it didn't know how to walk. It was like 3 years old and did not know how to walk. It was rescued. And it was not sociable at all.
Yeah,
But
I can imagine. Luckily, we got Leia was left on the side of the road, like just thrown on the side of the road as a teeny tiny little puppy, like right after she was born. Luckily, someone had found her and brought her to the pound. So
I find the videos online that actually touch me the most are people dumping dogs. Because there is nothing but love in those dogs' eyes.
Yes,
they drag this dog out of the car, and the dog stands there and it watches them drive away, and it moves. And I am,
Yes. Oh my God, it's so heartbreaking, and they have no idea what's happening or why it's happening. These people are just awful, just absolutely terrible. I thought you were gonna say like touches you in a good way because I was thinking like the soldiers that come home. No, I was thinking you were gonna say the soldiers that come home and yeah,
not fussy about them. Most of them are set up, so they kind of lost their. Every now and again, I'll get one that I think's real.
Mm-hmm.
But most dogs, after you've been away for a couple of days, will respond excitedly.
My dog, when I came home after being away for a few days, she cried. Like she does that little whimper cry, and she, freaked out. She can't. But she's like always with me, like always with me because I work at home and always kind of have. So.
Sandy says, "Lucky is part chow, and the hair is a gift and a curse."
Mm-hmm. It is. It's very floofy. It's loved to. It's really nice to snuggle up with. It's very soft, but it's also, it gets just everywhere. Just everywhere. Hi, Sammy. What you doing?
So, I want you to check this out. So this is I can't find it on the actual JW site. So this is somebody else's video called The Fateful Slave, which is funny because they call themselves...
Is this going to be in favor of slavery?
No. So the governing body call themselves the Faithful Slave. They used to call themselves the Faithful and Discreet Slave.
But they're not discreet anymore.
They've dropped the discreet because of JW Broadcasting. Yeah, it just raises too many questions. So, but this is an example. I have to reshare it. Whoops. Of just how fanatical they've come in the last 2 to 3 years.
Are you in your garage by any chance?
I am.
Okay, I was just wondering.
It's office.
It's lovely.
You're the first person to say it.
Well, usually, like, I've seen you stream, like, in your living room or someplace in your house that has, so.
You watch it, Wayne. share audio again. Can you hear
Oh
it?
shit! I'm sorry, Dave.
No, it's all right. Never mind.
No, I'll
I'm
delete
taking-
it.
No,
It's
no,
fine.
don't. I
I already
retweeted
did.
it. Don't.
Sorry. I already did. Too late.
Now I'm pissed off at it.
Although I have before, because I shared a picture of you dressed as Rick.
That's what I mean. I was poking fun. I wasn't serious.
Fine, I'll go back.
No, we can't hear it. Sorry.
That's all right.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you what's happening. So this is the Great Tribulation, right? This is Armageddon's coming, and they've reached the point in their doctrine where the earth is turning on God's people. So they're hiding in a bunker downstairs. All the witnesses, they're sort of stuck in their little book study groups in bunkers everywhere, whilst the entire earth, I'm guessing, is looking for them. And so they're just down in this bunker reminiscing and, thinking of things that help keep them strong, which we'll skip through all of that.
What's disturbing is I've seen.
I'm not surprised. When it came out, it was all over YouTube. Oh, so they've obviously edited this a bit. And they're not going to show us the good bit. But this video ends with like a bunch of SWAT-looking people kicking the door in and busting in with their guns. And all the big tough Jehovah's Witness men stand up with their arms folded like, we're not going to back down. And so this particular convention in 2018, they had all these videos released for that convention. And it was all this apocalyptic, hiding in bunkers, get ready for when the world turns against you. And ended off with this new song being released, which essentially has all these characters all meeting up in a field and then being surrounded by this army. And just as the army take aim, Jesus comes out of the clouds on his horse with all these people riding along beside him, and he just pulls back a bow and it goes white, and that's the end of the scene. And it's like they all look up and like, yeah, here comes Jesus to save us.
They had trouble with
what? Let's ask.
Go on.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say they had trouble with iron chariots 2,000 years ago. How is he going to deal with tanks?
That's a good
I
question.
was going to ask who this army is and why they're after them. Like,
Yeah.
did they do something
Because they
bad?
wouldn't go, weren't they? They were being evacuated, weren't they?
Who?
The people in the bunker video. They were trying to evacuate them.
No. They were... Who knows what they're going to do to them? Kill them?
For being JWs? Or I don't remember.
It was definitely a big part of like going to the conventions and like all the bigger gatherings. They would have these theatrics and stuff like that. They always had the stage set up, and they would have these little plays and stuff that were showing you how things were going to happen. That was a very strange concept too. Like the world is going to end. Everything is just going to stop functioning. You know, there's going to be a war on Earth. fish are gonna start floating up at the top of the water, and the sea will turn red.
The worst thing is
talking crazy.
global warming. Global warming seems to really be feeding into their apocalypse narrative.
Excuse me, what is, Dave?
Global warming.
Fuck your face.
Well, what's worse though is that they don't care about it because
It's the only
the world's
hope can
about
change
to
it.
end.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking to what's her face the other day, Jaded Atheist, and she was talking about how when she believed they knew they accepted climate change as a fact,
Didn't matter.
but it didn't matter to them because they were going to end up in heaven anyway. And then I asked, well, what about all the animals that keep dying and are fucked? Do they go to heaven too or anything? And she said she didn't. That was something they didn't talk about. They didn't know. So fuck all the animals. The humans are the only ones that are important, and they're all the good ones are going to heaven. So climate change doesn't matter.
I saw that tweet.
Yeah.
What the hell's going on in this video?
So I've just realised that they've done an update. So 2019, see if they took some scenes out and they replaced it with people singing.
So they replaced the army?
No, we'll see that's a clip out of one of their dramas. So it's flipping between examples that they would have watched during the convention. All these people would have faced some battle and overcome it. You know, like this girl's witnessing at school. That guy lost his wife to cancer. And they're just showing the different clips. I didn't realize there was two different versions, but it's just fascinating. Let's get towards the end.
So who all was invited by the convention? Oh, Jesus Christ!
see the little group in the middle there. Here comes Jesus. Go, Jesus!
How do you know that's Jesus? Is Jesus the only one in heaven to get a horse?
Jesus is the white dude on the white horse, man.
But he was 33 when he died. He didn't look like that.
Yeah, but he's Michael now. He turned back into Michael the Archangel.
Wait, I'm sorry, what now? Okay. Okay.
Jesus is Michael?
Jesus was
what
Michael.
are you talking about?
What? This
Jesus
is new to me.
Thing?
Yeah, Jesus is Michael to Jehovah's Witnesses.
So was he originally Michael?
Yeah.
Is that what you said? Okay.
So Michael came down, become Jesus, and then died and went back to being Michael.
All right, who's Gabriel?
Just an angel.
Just an angel.
Yeah.
Is Jesus a co-god?
No, because Jehovah existed alone, right? And Jesus is he's his only begotten son because he's the only thing in the entire universe that God created himself. And then Jesus created everything else.
Oh, so Jesus created the universe.
Jehovah was like, hey, son, let's make a universe. Righto,
so
Dad.
He created a son and made him do I had no idea. That's
Wait a minute. So who got Mary pregnant?
God, Jehovah.
You just said. I don't want to know.
So he created Michael, who created the universe, which he would have had to because Earth had to have existed before Jesus existed. So
Michael was just one of his roles.
That is fucking convoluted as shit, yo. And
wait a minute. So this is Jesus, an avatar, isn't it?
He's Jesus, Michael.
No.
Look, put simply, the answer is yes. Is that big enough to read?
I've actually
not really
about going and finding these churches and like going and attending their services and because I know they will eventually, I will get approached because I am a stranger, and start opening up dialogue with some of these people, like in their church. I think it would be really interesting.
But as soon as you get, they'll ban you. As soon as you
Yeah.
start getting anything, making them question.
See, it's because of the Revelation 12, where Michael and his angels fighting a vital war that results in the ousting of Satan the devil. Now, if you ask anybody, any Christian, who threw Satan out of heaven, they'll say Jesus. But it is actually Michael.
That's so weird. I had no
So
idea.
everyone thinks Jesus is Michael when it comes to that verse.
Why has God not killed Satan?
To answer the challenge. So once God has let enough time go by that has answered the question of will people worship God without him being in their face, then no creature can ever challenge God with that again. But to be just, he couldn't just
Okay,
go,
that actually makes more sense.
Yeah, this is why
I was
it's
actually taught
so
something.
indoctrinating.
What were you taught?
Like that Satan will be defeated, but he will only he won't be killed. He'll be left, and we'll have like Armageddon, and there'll be heaven on earth, and then Satan will be released again. That was a part that I never really got. Like, wait a minute, so this is just like a cyclical thing that's just going to keep on returning and coming back? God can't really defeat Satan?
I learnt the same thing. I think Dave's sort of saying, why didn't he just kill Satan in the first place?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, why did he even? Yeah, why is he even there? Like,
why did fucking God create sin? I mean, for fuck's sake.
He didn't.
Because we
Satan
needed better
brought
news.
it about. So what? But here's that as a 14-year-old, I couldn't get an answer to. So sin didn't exist, and this angel in heaven saw God being worshipped and wanted to be like God. Isn't that a sin?
So stupid. I don't get it at all.
You believe this
So
stuff,
sin
man.
did exist. It had to
I know,
exist
right?
for him to be able to do it. It's like you can say it didn't exist for mankind, but you can't say it didn't exist.
If it didn't exist for mankind, it didn't exist.
No, well, like well, yeah. It didn't
Unless
exist
God has managed
in
to tell
mankind.
animals. I mean, right.
It's
It's so stupid. I'm sorry, Sammy. I love you to death, but damn, dude.
Well, don't be sorry to me. I'm out.
I know you're out, but it's, at one point you did believe. That's not your fault, though. It's not like
No.
I don't know. Being
I was
indoctrinated
born
doesn't-
in, so
Yeah,
I
exactly.
never chose.
I was going to say,
this
and do you think all the bullshit he believed is what got him out, or do you think it was birthday cake and boobs?
Boobs.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Amanda knows me too well.
Yeah, I think that happens with a lot of people is that they get old enough to look back, because I guess that's kind of what I did. I didn't know, I was raised in the Catholic Church. I didn't until I was probably 12 years old. I didn't know you couldn't believe in God. I didn't know that was a thing. Like, and by the time I was 15, I realized I had never actually believed in the bullshit. So, you get older, you see things are stupid, and you realize reality.
Which it's funny, we sort of end up in the same point, but from the complete opposite.
Yeah, exactly. So I know where you're coming from.
Because I grew up like not understanding how people couldn't. It was so obvious how true this was. Like, the fuck's wrong with people?
And how do you feel about that now, as to how you could have believed it then?
Well, I'm glad it happened because it helps me understand what theists are going through and why, the approach is so important and what we say is so important, because I can still remember back to the cognitive dissonance and the moments of this shit, like the few things where I basically said, which is now a pretty common argument amongst atheists, where at 13 I said to God, you know what, God, if you do exist, you're a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Fucking show yourself right here, right now. We're going fucking 3 rounds. And he never did. The coward never showed himself.
No.
At 13.
But they could, a lot of theists can kind of talk themselves out of that even and say, well, he just wanted you, to be able to prove your belief in him, not the other way around or whatever. And it's just, there's always a way to talk themselves into their belief of God.
Which was the little speckle of indoctrination that I had hanging over me until a few years ago was, did Satan trick me?
Oh. Satan was the good guy, yo.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
I believe that
if
now.
Satan tricked you, God explicitly let him.
Exactly.
This is what I couldn't... But the most fundamental thing of all, I could never get my head around, and nothing anyone ever said made sense to me, and I thought it was just because I was young and couldn't understand. But why the fuck was little Sammy getting punished and have to do all this bullshit and live in this fucked up world? Why wasn't I born in the fucking paradise to begin with? All because of some Adam dude who I never even fucking met.
It's cruel.
Tell me how the fuck this is my problem. Like, well, that's just how it is. That's the way God made it, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Nothing you could say to me at 13 could explain to me how the fuck this was my problem. Like, genetics? Because then you're going to have to show me where sin, what gene the sin lies in.
It's all blood magic, the whole fucking thing. That passed down in the blood.
Well, there's still a lot of blood magic from the Catholics, for fuck's sake.
The entire Christianity is blood magic.
But it's more so the whole, like, eating of the corpse and drinking of the blood thing. I didn't realize that wasn't all Christianity. That was a thing that the whole transubstantiation thing is mostly Catholic.
I didn't realize
I thought that was normal for everybody.
That they thought it actually turned into his flesh.
Did it taste different?
Why are they okay with that?
It tasted different.
I don't know.
You ate it.
It obviously it didn't. Yeah, it didn't taste different. It tasted like a wafer, but the wine tasted like cheap ass. Grossest parts too. I remember them actually, like, he would sit there with the big glass of wine, or the
Alice.
What's it called? Goblet. That's what it is. And people would take a sip out of it, and he had this little cloth that he would just wipe the rim of and give to the next person. It's so gross. Sorry. So, like, the whole congregation shared one glass of wine. They all put their lips on it. But yeah, that was the blood of Christ.
The worst thing is, you know what the worst thing is? Evolutionary, that might have been a good thing.
What?
Sharing something like that.
Oh yeah. I understand what you mean.
Yeah.
But for in the
It's still gross.
in the modern times, it's definitely, I don't think it's a great thing,
No,
especially now.
That's ridiculous. We have supplanted virtually every method of natural selection. Keeping the ridiculous ones is insane.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Have actual modern medicine, so not necessary.
It's such a shame. Looking at their I just typed in global warming.
God damn it! What the fuck is wrong with you people?
Look, we understand what it means.
We think of it when you're on the stream, Manda. But these guys support it, or support that it's real.
That seems to be the direction a lot of
apocalyptic cults go.
Yeah, they're everybody is really the fact that fundamentalists are accepting this science, and we still have right wingers that say it's not whatever. But anyway, yeah, it seems to be that because they can't really honestly say no, it doesn't exist. They have to kind of admit that it exists because it's right in front of their faces. But they say it doesn't matter because you're going to be in heaven too?
Yeah. As well as, see, all this is climate modeling, blah, blah, blah. It's all the science and how it's all, no one's arguing it. But then, models reliable? Present forecasting methods oversimplify poorly understood climate processes and simply ignore others, say critics. They also point to inconsistency in computed projections.
They understand these are models.
Yeah.
One scientist who participated in the IPC discussions said, "There are some of us who remain so humbled by the task of measuring and understanding the extraordinarily complex climate system that we are skeptical of our ability to know what it is doing and why." Cherry-picked. I guarantee that's cherry-picked.
Oh yeah, especially because like you said, this is one scientist. I mean, IPCC is almost, it's the best of the best. So of course the rest of them are not going to agree. But in terms of accepting that climate change is real, the projections don't matter because we already have what's happened in front of our face. The projections are just where it's going, and like Dave said, they're computer models. They're not they're not going to be perfect every time. They're what we don't rely on them completely.
Prediction. It's the best possible, or it's the prediction.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even that we turn around and say if this happens like this will happen. It's not saying the world is going to go like this. It's saying if these certain things happen, these things will happen. It's not a matter of say predicting the future.
Yeah,
it's just a matter of following models through.
A lot of the variables could change in any possible direction at any time and take it.
We're hoping they will. That's the worst thing.
But like I said, the models don't matter in terms of saying that climate change is real because it's literally right in front of their face. So.
Oh, there you go. And there you go.
Earth's future is in good hands. No, it fucking isn't. If only that was so.
Yeah.
I know, right?
One leader who can successfully address the problems. Is that Queen Elizabeth II?
Better hurry up then. She's pretty fucking old.
Prince Charles III? King Charles III.
Well, did you know that Oh my god, I'm blanking. Philip, who
What
just
about
passed.
What?
There's an island who saw him as a god.
What?
You probably
There's an
know
island
about
that saw him
Dave.
as a god. They
Really?
worshipped him as a god. Yes.
Yeah, and now that he's died, it's passing on to Charles.
Oh
Well, he's
god, can
gone
you
to live in
imagine having Charles as your god? That's so sad.
Isn't it? It truly, truly is.
Oh, it's not funny. It shouldn't be.
Beyond the reach of science. Okay. Ugh.
Yeah, we can't predict that if we put CO2 into the atmosphere that the more heat will be trapped.
Yeah.
Can't see that at all. No one understands it at all.
No.
See, this is so.
Oh, so
knowing
they're
full well-
blaming it on our sin.
Yeah, because
Oh,
we
shit,
already know that.
we're pumping our sin into the atmosphere.
Yes.
Look,
I mean, kind
because
of.
we have the attitude where we smoke, because we harm our bodies with drugs, alcohol, and smoking tobacco.
Well,
Life is anything but a
Says Sammy
sacred
with the
gift
ciggy in his
from
mouth.
God.
I'm smoking weed right now too, by the way.
Which means because of that, we don't. We have a godless attitude towards the earth, right?
I'd say that the pagans
But what's
have
the
a more
solution?
complex-
The solution is don't do fucking anything about it. Just come to church.
Oh my god.
We'll share in making the earth into a global paradise.
Sammy, can you copy that page and Twitter it to me, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
It's going to come up tonight.
You could.
The wonders of corn.
By the way, if you have any memes or anything, Dave, you can send them to me.
What's a meme?
For the anti-vax stuff, and you shut up, you know what a meme is.
Do you know it's David Tennant's birthday today?
Who?
What?
Who?
David Tennant.
Oh, David Tennant. Okay. That's not what I heard you say. I'm sorry. No, I did not know that.
How can you not know the name of our Lord and Savior?
I thought you said David Turd. I swear to God, that's what it sounded like you said. I apologize for not knowing his birthday. Well, at least they say they need that. Oh, wait. Go up. What are they saying about vaccines? Down. We need to end also. Oh, there's more there too. Yeah.
That they cannot end all sickness. They're not supposed to end all fucking sickness. They're supposed to end one specific kind of sickness and not end it.
I know how to end sickness. Give Manda a machete.
Yep, that'll work.
Oh, gee.
The wonders of corn. What?
What?
The plant talks to you.
Signs of trouble. How?
Oh, he was born the same year as my brother, by the way. Sorry. I was just looking it up.
This is so they're a Wake magazine. A lot of people know the Watchtower, but they have its sister magazine, The Awake.
What's that? Who's that for?
It's their science magazine.
It's science magazine.
It'll often just have articles like this, The Wonders of Corn.
You need to use the air quotes when you say that, Sammy.
I did.
Okay, sorry.
Which and this is a problem. They often do have. They've just literally stolen it straight out of some textbook, but they'll have great scientific articles. But then just with the proviso at the end that although science think this, we know God did it.
Why don't they ever like just say that God invented science or whatever? Kind of make science the middleman.
Well, they do, but I don't understand them trying to justify things scientifically when they get to the end of it and say God did it. Why not just start with God did it if it's not going to offer any fucking explanation?
Yeah, that's true. Seems like a long way around to get to the same place every time.
They want to lie about what science is.
And it
I'm going to have to go in a minute.
Me that they try and it's like virtue signaling, like, oh, what about the poor orphan monkeys? And
oh, did you watch our PragerU video?
But again, what's your fucking answer? Just
did you watch
wait
our
for
PragerU
paradise,
video? Sammy.
The what interview?
The PragerU video we did a couple of weeks ago.
Online?
Yes.
Yeah, that was a couple of weeks ago.
And all it was is it's all these stats about the harm of renewable power sources. Right, and it's just giving stats alone with no context. So, 500,000 birds are killed by wind turbines.
Mm-hmm.
Right, it doesn't mention, that 2 million birds a year are killed by cell phone towers, or the number of birds that are killed just by buildings or coal or anything else. It's literally just completely out of context numbers to emotionally try and appeal.
Yeah.
Do you know how many birds have died flying into my glass doors and windows?
500,000.
It's on par with the turbines.
This is why he has bird for dinner twice a week.
Like, I hate just random statistics without context.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to know the variables. What went in to make that number? What are the other?
The number was valid, but the point was, is without anything else, you don't know. If you don't know how many birds are killed normally, but by other random processes, it's a meaningless number.
Yeah.
And it's like them freaking out about the blood clots. In the UK, something like 18 people have died from the blood clot. But we've also had hundreds die from the blood clots due to COVID.
Yeah. But if you took that same amount of people and stood them under a tree in a nice field, the same amount of people are going to die from blood clots.
Yes.
The same fucking number. It hasn't risen at all.
As soon as you get to a population, any rare event becomes ordinary.
Yeah. It's like when politicians talk about gun violence, and they're like, well, what about the people that, killed in car accidents every year? It's just throwing different statistics into it. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't connect, and they're two completely different things.
Was it 3 strokes, 3 blood clots in the States?
4.
1 death. 4 and 1 death.
4 out of 5. 4 people.
And they have paused on that vaccine.
Yeah.
And in that time, we've just had another mass shooting, and 2 more. In that time, we've had 3 mass shootings where like 20 people have died.
Yep, exactly. When mass shootings happen, it's not the time to talk about gun control. That's what they bring up every time. So fucking stupid. Really.
I know this is a broad question that's probably not answerable, but it is 3:50 a.m. So, is it that liberalism or left thinking isn't inducive to staying in power or getting power, or why is it that the powers that be seem to be right?
You know, I think
What
I
do you mean?
heard
Oh.
somebody articulate an answer to that. I hope I can say it the right way. Shit.
We don't cheat.
No,
Wait,
we do,
please.
but I'll tell you in a minute. Let Tobin finish.
I lost my train of thought. Damn it! I hate it when that
It's
happens.
fine. I do that.
There's a quote from about 30 years ago from a conservative politician that basically said the left has won. The left now has science on its side. We cannot fight it. We basically have to make stuff up, and they do. They lie. That's it. Then you can promise much better things when you can lie.
The thing that I heard recently was the left. There's so many different issues that we're trying to like attack, and our different organizations they're different organizations, so they're spread out, and then like the right is all organized under one. You know, basically the Christian nationalism is like holds
It's worse
together.
than that, it's worse than that.
Our groups are all spread out, and we're not actively working together.
Right. They managed to make it in this last election. It wasn't about Trump. Anyone that you talk to about policy, it was purely they could not vote for the Democrats because they were pro-choice.
Exactly.
The amount that this was about abortion, right? And it didn't matter anything else. It didn't matter how evil Trump was. They have convinced them that the Democrats are evil because a woman has the right to control her body.
Yeah. And that is murder to them, and they will not stand by it. They will throw up every other conviction as long as they can tell themselves at the end of the day, I sided with my God. Because that's what they believe.
But it's not. They're not siding with their God. They're siding with. Yeah, I'm shutting up.
I know. I'm just saying that their choice is what they believe. They've been pushed to believe is morally correct, and it's the pro-choice versus, pro-life movement. It does very much come down to that, especially in the States here, and especially in the South. They don't care about anything else at all. They want to get rid of abortion. Dave is not wrong.
Yeah, and
there's a lot of propaganda documentaries and stuff that are really pushing that agenda. Like,
I am fascinated by both in the UK and the US the economic records, right? Because the left in both countries had left the country economically better. But you read the papers, you read anything, it's the right that says that the left ruins
same in Australia.
Economies.
It's
right?
the same.
Yeah, because they say we want to take out, like my mother is, super right wing. And her reasoning is, oh, you want to give all our money away. We just want to give all of the money and take care, and they take care of the poor and give everybody mansions and whatnot. Like, I don't know. I don't know why they think that way. But in reality, blue states in America make more money and give more money to the red states to bail them out. So economically, we're actually on top. But
it's like I can't. In the abortion debate, it really pisses me off because they won't talk about proper. You try and talk about let's try and reduce abortion.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do proper sex education and free access to birth control. You can't teach people about sex. You can't. They want birth control. Pay for it themselves. I thought this was the most important issue to you.
Also, abortion rates rise when abortion isn't legal. The statistics are there.
That one's iffy. That one's iffy.
Well, more people die from that shit as well.
More people definitely die from it. Yeah.
Yeah.
From what?
Abortion, if it's illegal.
Yeah, because you have to find a way to do it. Making abortion illegal is not going to stop women from wanting to get rid of, to do it.
I know, right? And it makes it to where it's such an unsanitary way that people are going to end up putting themselves in more harmful situations. Like in my state of Texas, I can't like legally go buy weed, and
I can't
I
either.
don't anymore. I don't do it anymore, but I used to put myself in some, questionable places.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. What you mean.
Well, I'll just say it's still illegal in Australia.
Is it?
It's still illegal in Georgia.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. It's very illegal in the UK. Do you know how many people we've had get medical marijuana?
How many?
So the bits of it were made legal not temporarily, about 2 years ago. And it came out how many people have claimed it, have been able to get it.
How many?
One?
One, yeah.
One person.
See, I have it, but in Georgia, it's not actually weed. It's low THC CBD oil.
Yeah.
And that's fucking bullshit. That's why I have my non-legal stuff that I'm smoking right now.
I can't. This is illegal stuff right here. It's CBD marijuana, but
Yeah,
it's
and it's
horrible.
bullshit.
It's
CBD
freaking
bullshit.
horrible.
But the fact that in Arizona, like I moved to Georgia from Arizona. In Arizona, there's a medical marijuana dispensary on like every corner. I'm pretty sure. Did they just make it legal? No, I don't think so. But anyway, it doesn't. You could go in and get. It's not that hard to get medical marijuana card, and they have real weed. And then I get here, and they're like, "Yeah, well, it's not actually really weed." In fact, when I first moved here, it was just CBD oil. It was a few years ago they added the low THC oil to it as well, but it's still bullshit. So,
Where'd Sammy go?
yeah, you said you had to go, Dave.
I do. I thought. I'll see what Sammy says. Oh.
Don't forget. This is your reminder. In 5 hours, you have another stream.
5 hours? No, 10,
Yes,
11.
it's at midnight.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Well, yeah, you got me hooked up on Twitter now. I'm now following you. I'm really apprehensive to really mess with that. I just opened up Facebook and I've like totally gone about the wrong way messing with that. But yeah, heck yeah.
I'm sure on Twitter. You're. I said most of the people that are in the groups will probably follow. You will almost certainly, if you let them know you're there, will get added to other groups. I don't feel it's my place to add you, but given most people seem to do it anyway, they will quickly enough. If that makes sense, I only tend to add people to my group.
People aren't allowed to add people to my group.
No, you kill them. There's only like 7 of us there now.
No, there's 20-something. There's just like 10 of us that actually talk, though. Although I know a couple people that lurk. John.
So is weed illegal in Australia?
Yeah, absolutely. Ask me again, Dave.
Is weed illegal in Australia?
No.
No.
I'm not in Australia.
You're not in Australia.
Australia doesn't exist, so it's fine.
I'm a paid actor. I don't know who's paying me or when I'm getting it, but
all right, Dave has to go. He said, so we'll say goodbye.
Oh,
after 4 a.m. for you, Sammy.
it is. It's 4:01.
Yeah.
So
crazy.
But it's been real.
Yeah, thank y'all for letting me hang out with y'all.
No, pleasure. Now that I've found another witness, ex witness.
I wish I got to your after party last night.
It was fun.
Wait, what?
Good.
What after party?
Niels.
Neil.
Wait, who? You were at Neil's, Sammy?
No,
No,
Tobin.
Tobin.
Oh, I'm sorry. For fuck's sake.
So I heard I jumped on about halfway through the interview, and Neil goes, so when you're an ex-JW, and my jaw hit the ground because I've known Tobin for a little while now, and I just had no clue. But because I don't see the point in asking people what denomination were you. Like, you're an atheist now, so it doesn't matter because you don't believe the shit. So,
yeah, but sometimes it's good to know where someone's coming from. You know, like
what sort of crazy were you?
Yeah.
How have you been broken?
Yeah, absolutely. But
well, it's nice to meet you, Tobin. I'm Amanda, by the way. If you don't know who I am, I'm Amanda. Nice.
Yeah, I know. I'm familiar with you because I watch Critical Questions.
Oh.
And I'm familiar. There's some channels that I have heard you speak on. You've been on.
Oh, I have my own. I was Mama Atheist till about a month ago, so I do have my own channel, which Dave will be on tonight. So
cool.
Very good content too, Tobin.
Oh,
like
thank you,
that. I find this stuff interesting personally, and you deliver it in a way that is understandable, and you're sort of saying "fuck you" at the same time, which I love.
I do.
I think the "fuck you" to Trump was quite good.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite videos that I did because I was angry and it needed to be said before the election. So
yeah, absolutely.
What's the name of your channel?
Pale
Blue
Blue
Mama.
Oh, it's the same as the.
Yeah.
I can't believe you wouldn't be subscribed to it.
Okay.
I have subscribed to over 300 people now. So now whenever I want to find somebody,
it's hard. Yeah. I think I have like 100 channels. Robbie
I wonder
like
if
100 of them.
And I wonder if that's why YouTube stops notifying people.
You have to.
I wonder if you've got that many. It's just.
I have very few with the bell on it. Sammy's one of them, so I'm lucky that I found that this morning. But
did it notify you?
Yeah, it did.
So maybe I have too many bells switched on.
You have to go back and just make sure that you have bells switched on for the ones you really want.
I don't know what's happened, but Robbie's stuff will not appear on my Sammy Jenkins channel at all. And I'm subbed. I go in, I check, I'm subbed, the bells.
Yeah, unsub.
Yeah, I did. And resubbed.
Robbie
he doesn't come up in my feed. But this channel, Watchtower Watchers, gets notified about him.
It's weird because it's like the same. Lots of people I'm subscribed on both my main accounts. I'll only get notifications on one of them. Half the time.
And it sucks because I'm actually a patron to MathPig on the other channel, the one that doesn't get notified.
You were the very first patron.
I was actually. That's right. Yeah. Forgot about that.
Yeah, I found your channel. I will be tuning in tonight.
Oh, cool! Thank you. We're just there's a few of us that fuck around, and we're talking about vaccine or anti-vax memes tonight. Tonight's just a fun one. I do a lot of serious stuff. You know, I'm a climate scientist, so I talk about that, or I'll have
Rick and Morty
on. But lately, I've just had friends on to fuck around, and it's fun. So.
Cool.
That's always fun. All right, Dave. Are you even doing critical questions anymore?
On Tuesdays
Oh, it's once a week now.
at the moment. But we've got a new show coming.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be daily. That you'll be awake for.
Me?
Yeah. Yeah.
What awake? Like
It'll be
lunchtime awake?
Your evening.
Oh, awesome.
Midnight. It'd be midnight for you, I think.
Even better.
Yeah.
Awesome. Excellent. All right. Tobin, anything coming up?
I have a segment that's coming out from Atheist Edge, but I don't know the exact date. But yeah, other than that, I'm just gonna try to collaborate with y'all and hang out with people and join some conversations.
And go and check out Tobin's chat with Neil.
Well,
interesting. So, all right. Well, thanks for joining me, everyone. That was a bit of fun. A little bit of a trial. Try and work out some of the kinks.
And remember not to tell Robbie what the problem was.
That's right. That's right. It's not because it's a fucking Mac. So, all right. On that note, let me see. Quote from Jordan Peterson.
What?
If you don't like the world as it is, you could always leave.
Willingly.
Hooroo.